We're here with Business Around Town. I'm Chinwe Blessing.
And my name is Ali Udoma.
Yes, today we hit the ground running and we hope that the month ends well for all of us. This is the first, what is it called now? This is the first day of the last week of the month. Salaries would be paid this month, we hope, this week. And I do hope you're wise with your finances. Let's get into the matters of the day. Focus on self-employment. Entrepreneur tells youths. The Chief Executive Officer of Black Wave Security Services Limited, Willabo Apelebiri, a leading private security company, has called on all youths to focus on creating an entrepreneurial community that will reduce the unemployment level in Nigeria in the next few years. Apelebiri made this call at the 2023 Nigerian Youth Entrepreneurship Summit in Lagos. He noted that entrepreneurship is the key to unlocking the potential of Nigeria's young people. By starting their own businesses, young people can create jobs for themselves and others and contribute to the growth of the Nigerian economy, he said. Now, according to Apelebiri, entrepreneurship can help to reduce crime and social unrest, thereby giving young people a positive outlet for their energy. Entrepreneurship can help to keep them off the streets and out of trouble. He urged the government to do more to support young entrepreneurs, adding that government should provide access to finance, training and mentorship to young people who want to start their own businesses. He said the government must create an enabling environment for entrepreneurship to thrive. The government should reduce taxes and regulations and make it easier for young people to start and grow their businesses, he insisted. I'm just going to quickly say, I know several young people who have been forced to shut down their business operations, especially within the last 4 months since this new administration took over. And I think this will be a very nice time for me to call on the central bank to please revisit the policy against crypto in the country, because that is one way that a lot of young people can actually thrive and earn and, contribute to the society. I am still in awe as to how we got to a place where a country with so many youths, we have numbers, our strength is in the numbers. We are the most populous African nation, and we have so many youths, and we know that cryptocurrency trading is something that helps. It has helped. It is still helping several young people across the globe, and we just shut off such an opportunity. I feel like if there are problems, we should find other ways to deal with them instead of throwing away the baby with the bathwater. More stories?
Yeah, of course. It's something that they need to revisit. Hopefully it will come up, or the CBN will come up with alternative means of allowing the business to thrive, and let's see how we can work within the legal ambit. That is exactly what the CBN should be. Talking about the CBN, I think we have some issues here that the CBN need to also address, and it is on the news, although we will not be taking that quite now, but probably during the second segment we will be taking that. Let's go to NNPC, always on the news. NNPCL swaps 2.6 trillion naira crude for refined products. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited exchanged crude oil valued at 2.6 trillion naira for refined petroleum products in 2021. Latest data from the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NATI, an agency of the federal government, showed an analysis of crude oil production figures obtained from the just released 2021 oil and gas report of NATI also indicated that the National Oil Company did not send any crude oil to Nigeria's refineries during the period under review. NATI, however, stated that the non-supply of crude to domestic refineries by NNPCL could be due to the fact that the facilities were not operational at the time. Nigeria's refineries in Port Harcourt, Kaduna and Warri have been dormant for years, though rehabilitation is ongoing at the facilities currently. The NATI report stated that the oil firm exchanged Nigeria's crude oil for refined products under its direct sale, direct purchase program, adding that crude oil sales receipt during the review period was 2.2 2.3 trillion naira. Under the DSDP scheme, that is direct sale, direct purchase scheme, initiated in 2016, selected overseas refiners, trading companies, and indigenous companies are allocated crude supplies in exchange for the delivery of an equal value of petrol and other refined products to the NNPCL. Commenting on this in its latest report, NATI said NNPC allocated a total of 98.92 million barrels of crude oil valued at $7.11 billion. That is equivalent to 2.73 trillion naira for the local markets in 2021. However, no crude was delivered to any of the local refineries in 2021. Instead, NNPC used 95.2% of this crude for crude exchange for product at the international markets under the DSDP arrangement, while 4.75% was sold at the international markets. This may be due to the fact that none of the refineries were operational in 2021. The sum of 2.23 trillion naira, which in dollars is $5.85 billion, was the actual domestic crude sales receipt in 2021, out of which the sum of 1.64 trillion naira represent 2021 sales receipt, while the sum of 588.68 billion naira relate to settlement of prior years' receivables. The report also showed that the NNPCL lifted and exported a total of 24.84 million barrels of crude oil valued at $1.7 billion on behalf of the Federation in 2021. It said the sum of $1.58 billion was traced to the respective bank account as the actual sales receipt in 2021, of which the sum of $1.55 billion represent 2021 sales receipt, while the sum of $24.32 million relates to settlement of prior year receivables. Let refineries work is also a liner here. Operators in the downstream sector have repeatedly called on the federal government to intensify efforts in getting Nigeria's refineries to refine crude oil produced in the country. This, they said, will reduce the pressure on the naira, stop the direct sale, direct purchase arrangement, and ensure sustainable supply of refined petroleum products in country.
All right. Are we done with that story?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great. Now this is a story that has my interest. I was looking at it this morning even before we came into the studio. Strike will disrupt economy, says OPSN, the organized private sector of Nigeria, that is. They've gone ahead to warn the Trade Union Congress of their planned strike slated for Monday, and they said it poses a significant threat to the nation's economy. Now, the OPSN, in a statement on Sunday signed by the Director General of the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, Mr. Wale Oyerinde, he called on the federal government and the labor unions to work assiduously to avert the looming disruption of socio-economic activities in the country. Now, the organized private sector of Nigeria comprises 5 business membership organizations, namely Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industries, Mines and Agriculture, the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, and the Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, and the Nigerian Association of Small Scale Industrialists. Now, the body argued that the economic indicators were not currently good, noting that the economy cannot afford a nationwide strike at this time. Now, he said, and I'll quickly quote, "We have keenly watched the back and forth consultations between the government and on the one hand and the Nigerian National Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. It's evident that the series of consultations between the federal government and the labor unions have not yielded positive results, and the latter has resolved in one way or the other to go ahead with the protest or strike. The OPSN stressed that adequate consideration was not given to the dire situation of the economy and the devastation and disruptive impact of a nationwide strike would have on the country." I'm still going ahead to quote the memo. It says, "The government and labor need to understand that our economy is being demarketed and the livelihood of the average Nigerian is being diminished by this incessant bickering. One is beginning to wonder if the well-being of more than 200 million Nigerians is being factored into their negotiations, it said. Meanwhile, the body said, while recognizing the right of the labor unions to pursue the welfare of their members, it implored the government to employ its best endeavors to re-engage the leadership of the unions and find an amicable ground to avert the imminent disruption in business activities that would attend the protest and nationwide strike. It added that adequate consideration should be given to the dire state of the economy and the possible unintended consequences of social unrest that may result from the protests. We urge the management to be circumspective in their business operations as we continue to intervene in last-minute attempts to avert the strike. Adequate measures should be taken to protect company assets and contingency plans are made to keep businesses afloat. According to OPSN, it is important to begin to have a conversation about how the labor unions and the government can resolve their issues without jeopardizing the livelihood of the average Nigerian and truncating their business projection activities. Now, we went ahead to urge the government to demonstrate good faith in keeping to its promises during the negotiations and abstain from making promises that it cannot or do not intend to keep. It also appealed to the labor to carry out a realistic assessment of its demands within the context of prevailing economic realities while going the extra mile to indicate how its demands could be met. If you remember very well, Aliwu, I said this right here when the NLC went on the 2-day warning strike and power was cut in some of the states in the nation. And I said, at the end of the day, this strike affects the average Nigerian on the street more than it does affect the people that you're trying to get to understand your needs.
Yeah, of course.
The only thing it's going to do, I believe, in my own opinion, is frustrate the Nigerian people to hit the streets. And we don't want an uprising. We don't want unrest. It doesn't help anybody at all. It doesn't help us economically as a nation. But at the same time, we cannot put the pressure on the NLC and the TUC more than we would put the pressure on the government. Because from what we have been reading, except if there's something going on behind closed doors that we are not privy to, from what we have been seeing, from what the information they've been giving us, the NLC and the TUC are trying to keep their own end. They always show up for meetings and they've been complaining that they're having meetings with empty chairs from the side of the government. Now there's a new Minister of Labor, Simon Lalong, and I have said on this program that I do not have the confidence that he is capable of delivering whatever needs to be delivered in the Ministry of Labor. But then again, I also said we are open to him proving us wrong. He should go ahead and do what needs to be done. The needs of Nigerians cannot keep being shoved to the side. We can't keep playing politics with lives of people. One of the reasons I feel very frustrated this morning is I literally just lost a friend this morning.
Oh, sorry about that.
And it's because of some of these things, the hardship. You'd hear about how people are having to solicit for funds for medical bills that they can't afford it. We don't even have the medical brain power to deal with it. Why? Because the people that are training in Nigeria to be doctors in Nigeria, to be healthcare providers in this country are leaving the country simply because we do not have an enabling environment for anybody to thrive. And people are dying in the streets. So my question to the Minister of Labor at this point is, who are you in office for?
You know, really, if you look at this situation critically, the organized private sector have their own point of view, which is quite valid, and also the Nigerian Labour Congress have their own point of view, quite valid as well. So we just try to look at how to strike a balance. Yes, very, very right on point for the organized private sector to come out to say they wouldn't want to support a nationwide protest because it's definitely going to shut down the nation's economy. And currently, if you know what the economy is saying, it is not that strong for us to be bringing it backward, because this is going to be like you're moving and you just take a break. By the time you come back, you certainly need a lot of time before you do a catch-up. You continue doing catch-up until when you get out of the race. So it is really, really not going to be too healthy for the Nigerian economy to go to a standstill. But again, the government has a lot of responsibility, and this is not peculiar to the current administration. It has been an existing reality with our previous government. You see Minister of Labor to come and have a meeting, sign memorandum of understanding with organized labor. It had even has to have their own part where they sign a lot of MOU with the government, and the government failed to fulfill their own part. NLC having a lot of table discussion with the government, but unfortunately it didn't yield out any positive results. So now the onus lie on the government. Yes, the organized private sector, what they say is valid, and I know the government would want to look at that and take it as a leverage for them and not to even be put under too much pressure by the NLC and the TUC. While on the other hand, some persons are saying the organized private sector wouldn't want to support what the NLC are doing, simply because they feel that if the NLC at the end of the day agree at a particular amount as minimum wage or what have you,
they are going to have to
the organized private sector would also have to up their own minimum wage and other benefits of workers, because there are a lot of issues that need to also be addressed in terms of the organized private sector. A lot of people working on casual basis who are not supposed to. You see someone earning 30,000, 40,000 working with the private sector. It is quite unfortunate at this current economic reality, and that is why I look at it from both sides. Yes, the organized private sector are really right on what they want. Also, the NLC and TUC are also right on their own part. But again, the biggest player of all of this is now the federal government. The government needs to come out clean. The government needs to take responsibility. They need to take enough responsibility. Of course, we know there are other alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, but the government don't seem to understand any language aside protest. Please let the government change this body language. Nigerians are not happy for the fact that we will have issues, and the government would not want to show any concern about the plight of Nigerians. Why I say they don't show concern is for the fact that yes, you tell us that you empathize with us, you know what we are passing through, you know what we're feeling, but unfortunately you don't seem to provide solutions to it. A lot of people being killed, a lot of people being maimed, a lot of people being kidnapped in this country. So the government needs to really take a very serious step, especially when it comes to this issue of protests. We don't want to have a nationwide protest in this country, especially based on the security
I was about to say that, especially the place that we are as a nation right now, we cannot afford anything that is going to make it seem as though we're going to be having issues or problems that are going to come up. We can't afford it as a nation. You have a nationwide protest, it can be hijacked, it can be turned into anything. We can't afford any level of unrest. And just, I'm going to quickly say this and then we go for a commercial break. The government needs to understand that you cannot keep showing laxity to the problems of your people. You can't keep treating it with so much lack of concern. There's a lot of lackadaisicalness in their behavior. It's like, oh, it's your problem. You can't keep making promises you don't have intentions of keeping, especially at this point where the government needs to prioritize having the people to begin to trust them. They have to build that, and they're not doing anything about it. They know that they are not being trusted by the people, and they're not doing anything to put that.
Keep widening.
I mean, it's sad. It's very sad. Let's quickly go pay some bills. When we return, we'll give you updates in the forex, stock market, and other business stories. To connect with the live studio, press 0700 010 961 961. Thank you for calling Voice of the People Radio. Please hold while we connect you.
Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Now you have a voice 1 2 1 2. Cause everybody talking 96.1. Hold up, what's up? 96.1. Don't break the voice.
Thank you for choosing Voice of the People FM.
Yeah, VOP TV. VOP TV. Yeah, VOP TV. VOP TV. We have been serving you hot and fresh content on radio, and you have been loving it. Now we're taking it further. Catch us live on YouTube at VOP TV for all the juicy content you can't resist. Talk shows, exclusive interviews, news, lifestyle, and more. It's all about you. VOP TV. Show up, speak up. VOP TV.
The award-winning pizza in the US is now here in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Romeo, the pizza champions, and cold berry ice cream. Delight in every school. Visit any of our outlets and feel the rich taste from the pizza champions and cold berry ice cream. At number 4, Ogbomosho Street, Area 8, Gariki, Abuja, or 3rd Avenue, Gwarinpa, Abuja, or Federal Housing Estate, Phase 2, Lube, Abuja. Call 0908-831-5906 or 0908-831-5908 or 0909-238-9861. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter at romeospizza.ng. Website www.romeospizza.ng. Romeo, the pizza champions. Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less. Are you traveling to Lagos and desire a perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42 Murtala Mohammed International Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in our beautiful appointed rooms, featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Now, whether you are traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your every need is met. We also offer complimentary pickup and drop from the Lagos airport.
Why not take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant?
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So why wait? Book your stay today and experience the ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
Believe me. Glory to God and to the Lamb. Beauty to the throne of eternity.
Brotherhood of the Cross and Star presents the Everlasting Gospel Movement on Radio every Saturday, 6 to 7 p.m. on 96.1 FM.
Adoration, adoration, adoration to God forevermore.
It is time for spiritual rejuvenation, the mortification of the physical being. It's a whole new experience on radio. Tune in and be blessed. Thank you, Father.
Check out our show schedule online for information on what's coming up.
Voice of the People, 96.1 FM. Now, you have a voice.
Baba Sani, remember that my daughter that will be getting married I told you about, and I'm sure that the cow I've asked you to keep is very ready. I don't want to hear story.
I don't tell them. Say make you no worry. If na cow, I get them.
The problem I have with you people is that you don't understand the business. How can you Okoko want to go and buy car? You now go and order from him.
Oh my Igbo, whenever I want to buy meat, I usually consult our friends. Why are you not feeling that jealous?
But I'm supposed to be the distributor. That is business.
Are you the seller for the cow? You get them
am for the cow. Now your own.
Both of you should not quarrel.
Cow. I am not here to quarrel. More with high chief. Talking to you is part of my importance. Look at this bombastic element.
Journey with us to visit 3 troublesome friends. From the east, we have the money and container man.
Yes, it is me now. High chief, you get me?
To the west, we have a man that eats only meat and loves owambe.
I still remain your one and only Otumba Owonikoko Agbabiaka.
All the way to the north, we have Baba Sani with his 40 children and 4,000 cows and still counting.
You are my people. Sunana Baba Asan. Na mi bonam po Asan and I get them for plenty cows.
Listen to Area Matters only on VOP 96.1 FM every weekday by 10:30 a.m.
Welcome back, and in case you just joined, this is Business Around Town on Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. We will be taking a look at this one that says how to effectively cut electricity costs. I'm sure you don't want to miss any bit of this story. Optimizing electricity bill management includes strategic energy usage, adopting efficient appliances, unplugging idle devices, insulating effectively, utilizing natural lighting, and consistent heating, amongst others, according to Josephine Ogundeji. In the vibrant neighborhood of Oshodi in Lagos, Nigeria, the Adekule family lived in a modest yet cozy apartment. Olumide Adekule, a skilled mechanic, and his wife Amina cherished their home where they have raised 3 wonderful children. However, when news of the proposed 40% increase in electricity tariff reached their ears, it cast a shadow over their usual cheerfully household. And I'm sure not only their household, but every other household in Nigeria, especially the average household. So one evening, after a long day of work, Olumide sat down with his family to discuss the matter. The living room was illuminated by a single flickering light bulb, a stark reminder of the potential changes to come. His children, curious and concerned, listened as Olumide shared the news and its potential impact on their lives. Amina, a resourceful and enterprising woman, spoke up. "We've faced challenges before," she said, her voice brimming with determination. "We can find a way to navigate this too, and we're sharing this so that you can also find a way to navigate our listener." Olumide nodded in agreement. Together, they began brainstorming ideas on how to tackle the impending increase in electricity tariffs. Their primary concern was adhering to the financial rule of not letting rent exceed 30% of their annual income. By the way, do you take cognizance of that? What is the percentage of your annual income to your rent?
To your rent. A lot of people don't know that.
Of course.
And I think on Formula U, I've discussed this like twice with a finance expert, Rich Anti-Finance. She came to the house to discuss it twice, and we said your 3-month salary should be able to cover your rent.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, you're paying too much rent. If your 3-month salary, you pay, just do the math, 1 to 3 months out of 12 months. If 3 months cannot pay, 3 months of your salary cannot pay the rent for where you are at, you are staying where you shouldn't. You can't afford where you're staying. So now the question is, how many Nigerians with that philosophy can actually afford their rent?
Quite difficult.
Especially in this Abuja.
Quite difficult. So let's take a look at this. According to Money Africa, here are some practical tips to help you save on your electricity bill. Ask the right questions. Before you even consider moving into an apartment, inquire with the agent or landlord about the electricity setup. Ensure that there are no outstanding debt attached to your meter, whether you are metered or non-metered customer. This is very, very key. A lot of people have entered into this trap. You get into a house, the electricity distribution companies don't care. They don't care whether you just entered the house today. So long as there is an outstanding debt on that meter in that particular apartment, it is your own. You will be the one to bear. So you have to ask the right questions and make sure you don't just get into what you cannot be able to handle. Don't turn off lights when leaving. Turn off lights when leaving home. Of course, one sure way to reduce electricity consumption in your home is to always switch off the light when leaving a room. It is easy to forget get to do this every time, but you can cultivate a conscious habit of doing so. And one thing is that it is not only for the purpose of saving your electricity costs, it also saves in terms of any eventualities, fire outbreak or what have you. The fire service usually tell a lot of Nigerians that it is part of your safety that you switch off all electric appliances before stepping out of your home.
So the reason I am very guilty of this is I like to leave my AC on. Let me tell you why. I know. I'm learning to stop.
Before you go for that, I had a conversation with the public relations officer of a federal fire service here in the FCT. At some point, he told me one staggering. I can't vividly recall the percentage, but I think it's around 60 to 70% of fire outbreaks in FCT. Was it FCT or Nigeria that are caused by air condition?
So I just like to come back home to a cold room, even though I've stopped doing that. It's difficult. Sometimes I forget, but I make it a point of note to turn off my AC as soon as I start getting ready for work. It's like part of my routine now. But it's one of the things I used to do, which brings us to the next point. Make sure you unplug all of your devices.
Of course.
Everything, excluding your fridge, of course. But I think every other thing should go off, and I just recently learned that one. So don't think we're just, battering you and hitting you. We also are learning from some of these things that we teach here.
Funny enough, it says unplug devices when not in use. Unplug electronic devices and chargers. Many devices draw power even when turned off, contributing to phantom energy usage. I never knew that.
Oh, I did. I knew that. That was because I think my mom was the one that told me that. So what we do at home is we take it out from the, we unplug it.
Yeah.
We remove it from the fuse, I think, or the socket. I think that's what it's called, from the socket. You take it out because even when it's off, it can still be
that's what I'm just
taken.
getting.
Yeah, it can actually. So be careful.
You can use energy
efficient bulbs. I saw this one that works even when there's no power.
That's the one I'm using.
And you can control it with a remote control.
Mine doesn't have remote.
So I'm going to go and change every single light in my house to the one that, you know how difficult it is, you're winding down, you don't want to get up to go turn off the light from the wall, but you could just lie down and use the remote to, and it's fun. So I have plans to actually do that as well. Now this next point, I'm not going to agree with it.
Okay.
But you can go ahead and do it. I'm never going to. I grew up in the cold. I have gotten used to the cold. I love the cold. They said use fans instead of air conditioners. No, sir. I humbly
decline.
Let me request to decline if they of course we all love the soft life and having an air conditioner in our homes, but they don't have to be on all of the time. Otherwise, we will have to deal with very high electricity bills. You can have a ceiling fan or standing fans to complement your ACs in your sitting rooms and in your bedroom. Well, I do have a fan, but my fan is for when there's no light.
Rechargeable.
Yeah. And then I think the AC, what I do is I turn it off sometimes. I used to have this bad habit of leaving the AC on even when I was freezing. So you see me in my bedroom and I'm putting on a sweatshirt and sweatpants and socks and I'm in the duvet. I could easily just regulate the temperature, right? But anyway, I'm learning. If you're like me, learn to, okay?
All right.
Turn it off sometimes.
Opt for cooking gas. Choosing to cook with gas presents a more cost-effective option compared to using electricity for cooking. With consistent hours of cooking time, electricity bills for both metered and unmetered consumers can become exorbitant. Considering the prevailing economic challenges in Nigeria, relying on electricity for prolonged cooking is not a sustainable choice for many households, even though some people who are on estimated billings will tell you that whether you use it or you don't use it, they will bring high bill for you. So let's just use as much as you can.
Yeah, I mean, you would understand with them.
All right, considering time, we need to leave this particular one and move to something quite different.
Can I say the last one so that they can come and advertise with us? Use solar panels. The last time we were up here, I think it was Friday, we encouraged, if you're in the business of solar energy and whatnot. What?
And every
other business, of course, you can come over to number 4 Ogbomosho Street, area 8, Garki, Abuja. Yes, you can come over and we would have a conversation about how we can put your business on the air. And yes, we're still looking to buy them. So use solar panels if you can afford it. Install a solar panel in your home because it's one efficient way to reduce the cost of electricity. Solar power can be a supplement to your electricity needs and reduce dependence on the grid. So,
all right, let's quickly take a look at this one before we go to stock market and forex. Concrete road cement price to hit 9,000 naira, says manufacturers. The Cement Producers Association of Nigeria has warned that the ongoing plan of the federal government to introduce concrete roads will raise the price of cement to 9,000 naira per bag from the current price of 5,000 naira. It also called on the current administration to permanently address the perennial cement price hike problem by facilitating larger participation in the cement industry, noting that Nigerians have no business buying cement for more than 5,600 naira per bag. The association, in a statement jointly signed by the National Chairman, Prince David Iweta, and National Secretary Chief Regan Ufomba on Sunday, commended the Works Minister's position on cement-made road, but warned of their consequences if the supply end in not addressed properly. As a solution, the cement producers urge the government to lay more emphasis on road design that allows both cement technology and asphalt pavement to run concurrently and provide ample time for a smooth transition that allows contractors to invest in commensurate and requisite equipment and retooling. The statement. Okay, while we commend the Honorable Minister's position on cement-made road, we warn of the dire consequences if the supply end is not properly addressed. This is something that actually I saw a news yesterday making round, even though unverified. That is why I didn't even bother taking it. That Dangote is slashing the price of cement with 50%, which I am waiting to see any confirmation from Dangote. Nothing of such is coming. So if you have seen that news, I don't think
just
it's
hold on for a
yeah,
bit till we are sure.
Of course, you have to. But again, the issue of concrete road, I think that's more durable. That's going to last longer. But Bua says he will be able to commission 3 more plants and 17 million tons of product on an annual basis. I think that will help a lot in terms of the demand and the supply end rather. And also Dangote will definitely have to up its game.
Absolutely.
If there's going to be healthy competition,
beautiful competition
there,
right
then
there.
It's going to be good for us.
I like it. I'm not a fan of the one-man thing. What was that they call
Monopoly.
it? Monopoly. Thank you. I'm not a fan of monopoly. Well, moving on. Anxiety as forex scarcity halts petrol importation. PCL's monopoly in petrol importation. After the first batch of 27 million liters of petrol imported by Emadeb Energy in July, independent oil marketers have not been able to bring a single drop of petrol. The national oil firm has remained the sole importer of fuel. You know, a controversial side to this, I'm just saying it's a conspiracy theory. I mean, that's what it is. It's not facts, right? I'm just saying, what if the NNPC wants to remain the sole importers?
They have been the sole importers of the product in the country. But again, I think I have a contrary stand to this particular issue. Recently or lately, we have been seeing a lot of news on papers about this issue of oil marketers saying this, oil marketers saying that. I think enough of these shenanigans. I don't think this is the way forward. Something is probably fishy somewhere. If at all we know in the past, NNPC have always been the sole importer of this product. Yes, I'm not saying other companies should not import, other marketers should not import. They have the license, but they are complaining that they cannot import the product now because of obvious reasons. Forex is there and they cannot be able to raise enough money to go bring the product. Fine, if NNPC are not complaining that they won't be able, or they are overwhelmed, then I don't think there is any much problem for us to bother. Why every now and then issue of marketers worried about this, marketers worried about that, and they kept on making reference with Emadeb, who brought in 27 million liters. What is 27 million liters compared to our daily consumption? We consume over 45 million liters on a daily basis.
Exactly.
Because some company brought in 27 million liters, they kept on making reference with sounding as if they brought in 7 billion liters. This is just 27 million liters that is not up to a day supply. We consume this.
I think maybe
is wrong somewhere,
just
please.
maybe the NNPCL is, maybe there's some kind of connection between that and the scarcity of the dollar, for like they're making it difficult for other people to be able to access this fuel. Because, and if that is the case, I hope it is not. Like I said, it's purely speculation. It's just my head coming up with conspiracy and stuff. But if it is the case, then I mean, shame on them, because we are trying to find a way to make life easier for Nigerians. What if that is the case? It means that Nigerians are suffering for nothing. Right now, the hardship that we are going through is for nothing, and nobody would want to suffer for nothing. And this would just mean that they are trying to push Nigerians and take advantage of them. Now, we all know that nobody wants to be taken advantage of. I think it would be advisable for them to get on top of the situation and do the job that they are, whether appointed or elected, to do.
Those
get this thing under control.
Those who have been benefiting from the rot of this sector, talking about our oil, especially the subsidy regime, are not happy, obviously. So I know they will definitely go follow different means to see that they have their way to continue getting their money where they did not even work for. But again, we will continue to bring those stories as they unfold. But again, we are Nigerians. We can give our own perspective or opinion to some of these stories. Personally, I'm not okay. I'm not convinced. I'm not satisfied with the fact that this news keep on coming over and over again. 27 milliliters. I mean, no. Let's move to other stories, please.
Let's go ahead. This is from the CBN. We were supposed to follow up with this one. Here's the follow-up. $10 billion debt. The CBN defaults on payments to banks, and then the dollar nears 1,000. I mean, we were really close last week. We were 40 naira close to 1,000, and that is just
over the weekend. It was 990, 995.
We got to 995. How did I miss that?
I shared it with you.
I didn't see it.
Let's go.
Oh God. Okay, so now over 2 weeks after the Central Bank of Nigeria promised to clear over $10 billion foreign exchange debts owed Deposit Money Bank, the Apex Bank has yet to do so, according to findings. Now, this came as the naira was sold between 990 naira to $1 and 995. Oh my God. Naira to $1 by Bureau de Change operators on Friday and Saturday in Lagos, Abuja, and Kano. On the investor and exporter forex window, the naira, however, appreciated to 747.76 per dollar on Wednesday from 772.98 kobo per dollar on Thursday. And I just hate that we still have two very far apart figures for this. Now, the immediate past acting CBN Governor Fola Shonobi on September the 6th, 2023 said the Apex Bank had concluded negotiation on dollar debts with commercial banks, disclosing that all forex exchange backlogs will be cleared within 1 to 2 weeks. Now, according to him, deposit money banks have assisted the Apex Bank to clear the majority of its overdue FX foreign exchange forward contracts at maturity. In response to questions about the backlogs, the banks have been working with CBN on various structures to clear them. So what happens is that at maturity, they make the foreign exchange available to those that need it. I'm going to quickly quote Shonobi. He's one of the times he said something to an audience at a forum in Lagos. He said, we are discussing with them so we can structure their own. So we are working towards clearing them in the next 1 or 2 weeks. It is something we have been discussing for a while. However, multiple top banks executives told the Punch on Sunday that almost 3 weeks after the promise, the Apex Bank had yet to make good on its promise. Are you seeing a similarity in behavior between the CBN and the administration? Why do we keep saying things that we don't do? I mean, a man's word is his bond. So then that goes for administrations and companies and individuals. You're listening to me right now and you own a company or you're running your own business. Look, you had better make do on your word. These people might be able to get away with it for a very short period of time now because of how high they are, but we can't afford to do that in our real lives. You cannot use this as a yardstick for how to behave. And now saying that just makes me sad. Imagine having to say this. Imagine having to say this. It's like saying, oh, your father is a drunkard, but don't look at your father. Do what is different. When it should be look at your father. I mean, it is absolutely just depressing. Anyway, this is the situation now. The naira has slumped. Obviously, on Friday, pressure mounted on the naira at the black market with BDC operators in Lagos, Abuja, and Kano lamenting dollar scarcity. Now, scarcity is reaching BDC operators, which is bad. very bad. And Abuja-based BDC operator Sanusi Ibrahim said, we sold the naira for as high as 1,000 naira to a dollar on Saturday. On Friday, we are buying and selling for 980 and 995. We're going to look at the story more in-depthly, and we're going to see more about it during World Rounds on Matters later by 12:30. So keep it a date with us. Let's move on and talk about other issues.
Hey, what's going on in the stock markets today?
All right, stock market shares 39 billion naira amid increased trade volume. Let's quickly take a look at this because time is now on our side. The local bourse closed negative on Friday by 0.11% week on week due to weak market momentum, which saw investors losing 39 billion naira. Both the market capitalization and the Nigerian Exchange Limited All-Share Index closed trading lower at 36.847 trillion naira and 67,322.59 respectively, compared to the previous week's figure of 36.886 trillion naira and 67,395.74 basis point. However, the total turnover of shares was 3.911 billion units, worth 30.38 billion naira in 38,536 deals, higher than a total of 2.933 billion shares valued at 47.45 billion naira that exchanged hands the previous week in 44,654 deals. Measured by volume, the financial service industry led the activity chart with 2.774 billion shares valued at 15.24 billion naira traded in 16,379 deals, thus contributing 70.92% and 50.17% to the total equity turnover volume and value respectively. This was followed by the oil and gas industry, which saw 438.508 million shares worth 5.20 billion naira traded in 6,258 deals. The third place was the ICT industry with a turnover of 294.470 million shares worth 4.447 billion naira in 3,078 deals. The top three equities traded in the review period were Universal Insurance PLC, Owando PLC, and United Bank for Africa PLC, measured by volume, which accounted to 2.212 billion shares worth 8.91 billion naira in 7,593 deals, contributing 56.56% and 29.32% to the total equity turnover volume and value respectively.
Well, there we have it. It's time for the final episode on Business Around Town.
Here is our business quote for the day.
I beg your pardon, not episode, segment. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness, in fact, is the key to success. If you love what you're doing, you will be successful. And this quote is by Albert Schweitzer. Okay, so success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you're doing, you will be successful. We know that times are hard and it's difficult to continue down the path of even your passion. Talk more something you're not passionate about. So just stay true to your dream and stay true to your passion, and we do hope that God helps us all. I'm Chinwe Blessing.
And my name is Ali Udoma.
Have a beautiful day.